Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we are taking a look at the career of Katy Perry.
From gospel singer to pop superstar.
It is quite the story.
A lot of people don't know just how much she has evolved over the years.
Yeah, like going all the way back to her childhood. I mean, she was raised in a very strict religious household.
Her parents were actually Pentecostal ministers.
So I imagine secular music was like completely off limits.
Pretty much. You know, she was only allowed to listen to gospel music and like church hymns growing up.
So that's where it all began for her.
Huh. And she's talked about, how those early influences like really shaped her voice and her sense of performance.
I mean, it's a far cry from the kind of pop music she's known for today. But I can definitely hear those gospel roots.
Absolutely.
Especially when she belts it out.
It's in those powerful vocals.
And she even released a gospel album, right?
She did.
When she was just 16.
Under her real name, actually.
Katy Hudson.
Right.
Which I think is interesting.
It didn't gain a lot of mainstream attention at the time.
But still, it shows how much drive she had even back then.
Definitely. She was already writing songs, recording, performing, just putting herself out there.
So what prompted the switch from gospel to pop?
I think it was a combination of things. She cited artists like Freddie Mercury and Alanis Morissette as major influences.
That's such an interesting mix.
Yeah, and you can definitely see how their music shaped her own style.
Like Mercury's theatrical flair.
And Morissette's confessional lyrics.
Exactly. So she moved to L.A., adopted the stage name Katy Perry.
Right, to avoid confusion with the actress Kate Hudson.
Ah, that makes sense. But her journey wasn't exactly a smooth ride, right?
Not at all. She faced a lot of rejection early on. Like, she was signed and dropped by 2 record labels before finally finding a home with Capitol Records.
I think it's important to highlight that. Because a lot of people don't realize just how much persistence it takes to make it in the music industry.
Definitely. It's not just about talent. It's about resilience, determination, and a willingness to keep going even when things get tough.
So what was that big break?
Well, her EP, Or So Gay, kind of put her on the map.
Right.
But it was her follow-up single, I Kissed a Girl, that really catapulted her to fame.
Ah, yes. That song was everywhere.
And super controversial.
It sparked so much debate.
People were really divided over its themes. And you know how it portrayed female sexuality.
Some people embraced it as this playful anthem, while others criticized it for being exploitative.
Exactly. It was a real lightning rod.
There's no denying its impact.
It topped the charts worldwide.
And introduced the world to Katy Perry.
And then, of course, her debut album, One of the Boys, followed.
Which went triple platinum.
Really solidified her status as a pop star.
For hits like Hot and Cold.
And that really showcased her songwriting skills.
Her ability to craft those catchy hooks.
I get stuck in your head for days.
Exactly. But it wasn't just the music that was evolving, it was her image, too, right?
Absolutely.
Like her fashion sense became more and more playful, bolder.
She started incorporating a lot of different influences, like vintage pinup, burlesque, even elements of Japanese kawaii culture.
Kawaii culture.
It's all about cuteness and bright colors and playful imagery.
It was really unique and vibrant.
Definitely set her apart.
And then came Teenage Dream.
And everything just exploded.
Talk about a self-fulfilling prophecy. 5 #1 singles from that one album.
California Girls, Teenage Dream, Firework, E.T., Last Friday Night.
She tied Michael Jackson's record.
For most #1s from a single album.
Why do you think this album connected with audiences so strongly?
I think it captured that youthful energy, that feeling of pure pop escapism.
And it came at a time when social media was really taking off, so it had this viral element to it.
Yeah, and the songs were just incredibly catchy.
Like Firework became a real anthem.
Of self-acceptance and empowerment.
It had a deeper meaning beyond just being a fun pop song.
And that's something you see a lot in her music.
Those layers of meaning.
Underneath the pop surface.
And around this time, her personal life also became a big topic of conversation.
Her relationship with Russell Brand.
Which was very high profile.
It definitely kept the tabloids busy.
But through it all, she kept releasing music.
And Prism came out.
With hits like Roar and Dark Horse.
Roar is another one of those anthems.
You hear it everywhere.
It really resonated with people.
So she had the hits, the awards.
Yeah.
The global recognition. But what about the critics?
Well, that's where things get a little more interesting.
Let's dive into that then.
All right. Well, the critics, they haven't always been Katy Perry's biggest fans.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Like, some reviews have been really positive, but others have been pretty harsh.
Yeah, some critics have accused her music of being like vapid or formulaic.
Which is a common criticism of pop music in general.
Right, like there's this tendency to dismiss anything that's popular as lacking depth or substance.
But I think there's more to Katy Perry than meets the eye.
Oh, definitely. I mean, her music is undeniably catchy, but there's also a lot of heart there. And, she's not afraid to tackle some pretty complex themes.
Like in her album Witness, that one seemed to mark a bit of a departure for her.
It did. It was a lot more introspective and experimental.
Did fans respond well to that shift?
It's hard to say. I mean, it still had some commercially successful singles.
Sure.
But it didn't quite reach the same level of, mega success as her previous albums.
Maybe some fans just weren't ready for that kind of change?
It's possible. Pop stars kind of face this dilemma where they have to balance staying true to their sound while also evolving and trying new things.
It's a tough line to walk.
Definitely.
So how does she navigate that with her next album, Smile?
Well, it felt like a bit of a return to her pop roots.
More of that upbeat energy.
Exactly, those catchy melodies.
It's interesting how she seems to go back and forth
between those two modes.
Yeah, like she's exploring different facets of her artistry.
I think she's a really versatile artist.
And let's not forget that she's also a very savvy businesswoman.
Oh, absolutely.
She's built this whole empire around her music.
Fragrances, clothing lines, even a mobile game.
It's like a whole Katy Perry universe.
And it's super smart.
Yeah, in today's entertainment landscape, it's not enough to just release music.
You have to connect with your audience on multiple levels.
And Katy Perry has done that really effectively.
She's turned her brand into an experience.
And she's been really strategic with her endorsements, too.
Partnering with major brands to further solidify her image.
So beyond the music, what do you think her lasting impact on pop culture has been?
I mean, she's definitely pushed some boundaries. Her music has sparked conversations about sexuality and empowerment. And her fashion choices have challenged norms.
And she's used her platform to advocate for causes she believes in.
Like LGBTQ rights.
Yeah.
And mental health awareness.
So even though she's faced criticism.
She's also had a really positive influence.
And I think that's important to acknowledge.
It is.
Now, we can't forget about her ventures outside of music.
Right.
Like she voiced Smurfette in those Smurfs movies.
Which introduced her to a whole new generation of fans.
She had that 3D concert documentary.
Katy Perry.
Pardon me. Which gave fans a behind-the-scenes look at her life.
And her creative process.
And then, of course, there's American Idol, where she's a judge.
It's kind of full circle for her.
Going from aspiring singer to mentor.
It shows how much she's grown.
And how much experience she brings to the table.
Definitely.
So to sum it all up, what do you think is at the heart of Katy Perry's appeal?
I think it's her authenticity.
What do you mean by that?
Like, even though she's this huge pop star, she doesn't seem afraid to be herself.
To show her flaws.
Exactly.
She's open about her struggles.
And that makes her relatable.
Even when she's wearing like a giant cupcake costume.
Shooting fireworks out of her bra.
She doesn't take herself too seriously.
And people appreciate that.
It's refreshing.
Definitely.
So looking ahead, what do you think the future holds for Katy Perry?
I think she's got a lot more to offer.
She's still relatively young.
And she's always evolving.
Maybe she'll continue to release pop albums. Or maybe she'll branch out into something completely new.
Who knows? But I'm sure she'll keep surprising us.
Maybe she'll focus more on her business ventures.
Or, she's always been passionate about philanthropy.
Right.
So maybe we'll see her doing more of that.
Yeah, it's exciting to think about what she might do next.
She's already accomplished so much.
And it's all on her own terms.
Which is really inspiring.
So I think it's safe to say that Katy Perry has left her mark on pop culture.
Definitely.
She's gone from gospel singer to global icon.
And she's done it with style.
And a lot of glitter.
Yeah.
But beyond the spectacle, there's a real talent there.
And a lot of heart.
I think that's what people connect with.
That authenticity.
Exactly.
She's not afraid to be vulnerable.
To show her true self.
And I think that's a powerful message.
Especially for young people.
It's like, it's okay to be yourself.
To embrace your quirks.
And to never give up on your dreams.
Well said.
Thank you.
So that wraps up our deep dive into the career of Katy Perry.
From gospel roots to pop superstardom.
It's been quite a journey.
And it's not over yet.
I hope you enjoyed this deep dive. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those earworms playing.